Well, it's the first time out to the farm since the flood. We're gonna check on the erosion, so let's take a drive in and see what it looks like. Okay, I've got the dogs with me, so I'll do my best to hold the camera steady. But this is the first time out, and I can see already our culvert's definitely working, because there's clay way down here from where the culvert is way up there. So that's a good sign that the culvert's working. And overall, this part of the road does not look too washed out. Holy cow, bit of a hole there. So that's about a foot below the outlet of the culvert. But, and some erosion actually right here. It's hard to tell. It's always so hard to show that. But it actually eroded there a bit. And, it looks like, gosh, it's so hard to show this on the camera. This is all erosion where it was coming down. It was coming down the gully, and this got too full here, and it washed up onto the road. So actually, this is all erosion, and it did eventually, it looks like it did eventually go back down into the gully down there, but definitely gonna have to clean all of this culvert out, and Gunner's blocking the picture there. But you can kind of tell how it gets very flat right there, and that filled up so much that it actually spilled back out onto the road where the sunshine is, because all of this is now bare gravel. So one spot to fix. And this is the part leading into the culvert, and this is the very first part I fixed. And I'll have to see if I've got some clips from the older video, but you can see now it's halfway up the culvert, and all of this washout came in here. So all of this was dug out about 2 feet down. So while I'm getting the water up the road into the culvert, unfortunately it continues to wash down and come to here. My guess is this culvert's actually probably just too small. So it's probably gonna have to get changed out. But it looks like this section of road didn't erode at all. So that means all the water was getting off into this side culvert, but unfortunately is washing down so fast, it filled it up. But since it was flash flooding, I guess I should be pretty happy with that amount of washout. That's not too bad. So this is approaching where I had done some preliminary grading, and it seems like it's working along here. And down this way is where we filmed building the first trail over multiple days. So we did the 180-foot trail build down this way. So we'll check that in a little bit. But looks like some of my erosion stuff didn't cut it off soon enough. So I'll try and get down low here. See that there is some pretty deep ravines, or pretty deep erosion. I think if I get low enough to the ground, you can kind of see along here how eroded that got, and that really needs to be way off into this gully, way off to the side. So it didn't work. My work up here all failed, or it was just too much water to deal with it. This is all washed out, and really, wow, this looks like this is going to be a lot of work for the skid steer. Looks like some of it went this way, so you can see where it kind of washed, but it just wasn't deep enough, and it overflowed and then went down the hill, and you can kind of tell from this angle that is all washed out, and it's about a foot of washout in there. So all of this is gonna have to get redone. Now this is the 180 180-foot trail, or part of. It's actually more than 180 feet. But this is where we built the trail. And oh boy, it hasn't rained for a few days, but this is really soft and muddy. But doesn't appear to have eroded much. So there was some standing water here. You can see dog footprints through there. But I'm not seeing a lot of signs of erosion. So that's a good thing. Looks like, oh, there's some pine needles across this. But because I sloped it up the hill, we really didn't get too bad of erosion. A little bit in here. So you can see where it washed out a little bit. But compared to if you'd done this and had the water just pouring down, this would have been much more eroded. I'm relatively pleased with this. This is not too bad. And this was the big steep part where we had to build the material up. And a tiny bit of it is washed down here. But I can even still see skid steer tracks. So it did not erode too bad. A little bit of a trough here, which is what we'd want on the uphill side. But it really didn't turn out too bad. You can see puddles, a smooth spot here where it eroded and then stopped. So for a rookie doing his grading, it's not too bad. Excellent. Now we're short a dog. There's Piper. Gunner! He doesn't come when he's called, so now I gotta go find him. Gunner! So this was one of the steepest parts. We got a teeny bit of erosion. This is where, again, I was showing you how powdery it was. The rain helped keep that down, but it actually didn't erode too much in here. So it doesn't look too bad. We've got a few spots where the water pooled up and settled, but that's okay, it's not too bad. Considering what it rained like back home, my guess is it did not rain that much here. We've got some small trees down here and there, but not too much. That's good. And then this is where that big stump was, the last one. It was really hard to get out. This is the next steepest part. And again, not too much erosion. So I think we're in pretty good shape. Here's a spot where it pooled in the sunshine, really hard to tell. I'm gonna try and get it from this angle. So it came down from here and between these trees, you know, there's a bit of a V in the land. So it comes through here. So it did wash this a teeny bit. So we definitely will need a culvert across here in the future. But it's so hard to capture this on the camera. So we'll see what else we find. If there's anything remarkable, I'll film it. So this is the area where we put in a new culvert, and there is a tiny bit of erosion through here, but normally the water is just on a regular day pouring down through here, and because of the drought, it's just barely a trickle. And it's rained so little over here that the creek where this actually lets out, it's actually dry. It's going underground right after the culvert. So literally pouring out of the culvert and then going underground. So I think we can safely say we got a microburst here. Come on.